Okay, so I'm just going to get rid of these print statements here. What I'm going to do now is find how many elements I have in this array, the length of the array. And we've done this before using strings. So Python sees a variable that contains a string value as almost a list of characters. And therefore, we can use exactly the same or some of the same functions and methods on our lists. So all I would do to find the length of the array, and I can print this directly, I would say print and then len, which was the function, and then return the number of items in a container. And this time it's going to be our list, toys. So I opened one bracket for the print, one bracket for the function len, close one bracket and close another bracket. So let's have a little look at what it does now. Ball game, which is these two prints, 5. Is that correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 elements in the array. Boom. So that's correct. Now, I could, however, instead of printing that directly, could put len of list, no space, len of list equals len, and then pass it toys. And then I could print the variable len of list here, and that would do exactly the same thing. So I'll show you. There you go, exactly the same. And all I've done here is created a variable and assigned it with the value that's returned from len, which finds out the number of items in the list, and then printed that variable instead. So let's look at the last thing. Well, no, it's not last thing. Second to last thing. Assigning an element of a list to the value in a variable or another list index. Okay, so let's create a variable called toy replacement. I'm struggling with my names here. Toy and replacement, and I'm going to assign that with game. Okay, so we saw up here that I just took toy2 and I assigned that to book. I changed it directly by referencing the index of the element in the array I wanted changed and gave it directly the new value. However, what if the value I have got is stored in a variable? Now that could be, say for example, coming from the user. The user may have given you some information, you want to then update the array with that. So it could be stored in a variable. I do exactly the same. So this time I'll put toys and then 2, because that's the element that I would like to change, and then equals, but rather than putting game, I'm going to refer to the variable where game is stored. So toy replacement, and then just to show you that it indeed worked again, although yes, it will have worked. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to print it under book so you can see as well here, and rather than here. So what I've just done here is I've just taken that print statement out and I've put it under here to show you that after changing it to book, it's going to print book. And then down here, I've assigned a variable with game. And now I'm just going to update or replace what's in the array at that point, that index, with whatever's stored in that variable. And then I'm going to print it. So it should say game again. So it says ball book, that's correct, 5, which was printing the list, the length of the list, and then game. Okay. So we need to, we may also like to replace the element of the array with another element of the array. So let's do it with a different one. So toys, no, I'm going to stick it with the same. Toys 2. And this time I'm just going to make toy2 equal toys 4. So, and then I'm going to print that so I can actually see that it's actually worked. So I'll print toys 2 again. And it should now print skipping rope, because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it did. Right, so what we've looked at so far is creating a list in Python and putting items in there and changing those items once they're in there. But what if we want to actually delete an element of the list or remove the element entirely? Okay, so the way that we do that is one of 2 ways. So if I wanted to delete an element, but I don't necessarily know what is in the element or what the element is, I would just use the del keyword. So here I would type del and then toys and then 2, for example, and that is going to get rid of the element 2 from the list at, well, the element at index 2, so 0, 1, 2. So this one that we've changed, which now is skipping rope, will be gone. To prove that, I'm going to print the whole list so you can see that that no longer exists. So F5 and then OK, and you can see. So ball, doll, teddy. Now skipping rope is there because it's going to be in there twice, but we can see 1, 2, 3, 4 rather than 5. Remember that we did replace 2 to look like 4, so we've actually got rid of one of the skipping ropes. I really should have printed it first before deleting it so you could have seen it. That would have been handy. Maybe I'll do that now actually. Let's just get rid of this bit of code. We'll run it again. I'll print it, toys, like this. And you can see ball, doll, skipping rope, teddy, skipping rope. And now I'll del that at position 2, index 2, and then run it. And it says toys not defined because I haven't actually called it toys. And there you go. You can see it did not do it because I did not print it. Sorry, I'm having a mare, aren't I? So print toys. It did do it. I just didn't print it. So let's run this again. And 50 times lucky. Okay, so we can see it's deleted it. But what if I do know the object name or the thing or the item that I actually want to get rid of? I can use the method remove. So I would put toys dot and then remove that. And this is a good sort of example of useful things that the IDE does, so it can actually help you think about what you want to do. And this bracket, that bracket, because it's a method, and I'm actually going to say this time I want you to remove ball like that. I need to print the list again so you can see that now that will be removed. So rather than using the index, I've actually said look for the element that contains the string ball and remove that. And there you go. So doll, teddy, skipping rope, ball has now been removed. So that's one of 2 ways. So you can del it when you want to delete the item at that particular index, or you can remove it if you know what the item is by referencing the actual item. Okay, so that's that's it really. I should have said at the beginning that you should have sort of had it in chunks, did the tasks as you went along, but hopefully you figured that out by yourself, because it's a really long video other than that. You can scratch it backwards and forwards. There are several tasks for you to do. Take a look at the colorings, because the yellow are just for extension tasks and for you to look at some more in-depth stuff, but that's really just for as I say, extensions. Everything that you need to know for the course is in this video. So complete the tasks that you need to do, and then that we will wrap up arrays and And let me just see if there's a task at the end for you to do, which I don't think there is because this is long enough as is. No, then you will be done. Okay, over to you.